Hey guys, before we start this episode, I just wanted to say for some reason my mic didn't actually connect properly to my phone, so the audio is slightly terrible, but I'm going to send it anyway. I hope you enjoy, and thank you for tuning in. Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to The Contentment. This is a place where we pull together ideas from the world's creatives to level up your mind, body, and spirit. Today, I want to talk about emotions. And a friend of mine, George Busby, once said, emotion is energy in motion. And I'm pretty sure he heard that from Tony Robbins, but it's so true. Emotion is energy in motion. Just sit on that for a second. Oh, I have myself a delicious yerba mate, mate. It's just a South American green tea basically, but it's got L-theanine, which is good for mood regulation in your brain. You can look up the science of that, I can't be bothered explaining it, but it helps offset the jittery and upregulation that caffeine gives you, and it also has caffeine in it, so it's the perfect little combination of nootropics to get me fired up each afternoon and each morning. This month, if you didn't know, I'm currently eating whole foods only for the whole month of March, to think about that. And I'm also having no caffeine from any other sources other than green tea or yerba mate, so no coffee, no pre-workouts, no artificial flavors and colors, whole foods only. And when I say whole foods, I mean no sweeteners, no colors, no flavors, no bullshit, only what I believe a human should consume. And before I get into this letter about emotion, food is a superpower. Food is, I swear, like through me experiencing eating whole foods and what it's like and how it feels, I swear to God that when you start eating well, your whole energy changes and you start to feel more empowered. More empowered. You start to feel like you have more energy. You're not as tired, you just feel more alive. And I feel like when people talk about sacrificing bad food for feeling more alive, is that really a sacrifice if you're actually just fucking alive more? I don't think so, but I also really love food and I miss eating bread and all of these things. Like, it's not easy, but I'll definitely be going in and out of being super strict and chill with my eating because I really see the value in it, and I highly recommend diving into that and seeing how it affects you. You never know, it might make you feel incredible, it might make you feel worse. So if you're watching this video, then you probably understand and you probably know me a little bit, and you probably know that I'm a fully qualified personal trainer and I have been for over 8 years. And the human body fascinates me. The fact that whatever you do to it, it will adapt, whether it's good or bad. And I've said this before a lot, if you do fuck all, it gets good at doing fuck all. If you do heaps of stuff, then your body gets good at doing heaps of stuff. That's just the way it works. It's a beautiful system of adaptation, and I implore you and encourage you to explore that adaptation and see where it leads you. And with that being said, at the end of the day, in our own personal human experience, all we really do have is our body, is our human body. That is all we really, really do have at the end of the day. So this thing here, this beautiful body, it changes how we feel, it perceives how we are in the world, and depending on how you feed it and how you deal with the things that automatically happen inside of it will be the way in which you view the world. So you can modulate that by eating properly, by managing your emotions, by engaging in different practices that manage emotion in a way that we can express it better and see reality in a more fruitful way. And I, for one, know that when I'm not regulating my emotions, when I'm eating terribly, when I'm treating myself like shit, my worldview changes into an extremely dark, nihilistic viewpoint, when in fact, life is incredibly abundant and beautiful. But again, that's only being achieved for me through extreme discipline in so many areas, and nutrition and showing up for myself every day, showing up for my emotions every day, being probably the two biggest pillars for sure. Obviously there's a lot more involved here, and there's certain things that I can't speak on because I don't have experience with, but these things specifically have changed my life. And yeah, I think it's so incredible how you can change the way in which you view the world, which changes how you are in the world, which changes your fucking interaction with everything from work to family to friends to everything. You start to see the world in a more abundant place. And don't get me wrong, there's still the ups and downs, the roller coasters, all of the shit that I've been through and faced in my life from the past still comes up, and I have to deal with it now. But it's just easier to deal with. And some days only slightly, but it's easier to deal with. And yeah. Honestly, yerba mate. So, one of my personal favorite observations that I see in the animal kingdom, cats and dogs specifically, like, you notice that when an animal like smashes up against a glass door or like fucks up really bad or is embarrassed and needs to relieve itself, usually they shake or they do a little or they like just get that stored emotion from that potentially traumatic or like bad experience out. They shake it out. And in my opinion, we are exactly the same. We go through traumatic experiences or we go through really challenging situations, but we don't regulate that and we don't get it out of our body. And that is why, as you know, I love movement, and why movement is so important for the key aspect of regulating our emotions and playing such a huge factor in us just feeling safe in the world. And speaking of that, there's a beautiful book called The Body Keeps the Score, and one of my favorite quotes in there is, "For real change to take place, the body needs to learn that the danger has passed and to live in the reality of the present." Let that sink in. I'm gonna paraphrase that and condense that down, and basically, if you can teach yourself through movement and other practices to feel safe in the now, then that is the only way real change takes place. And I personally can speak on that too. And that's where my daily practices come in, and my daily routine of creating that safe space for me so that I can move past all of the things from my past which are extremely heavy, and can move forward into a new version of me or into a more fruitful, abundant future. But that can only happen once you accept what has happened and once you're in the now with it, and then you coach yourself to feel safe. And there's so many ways in which you can do that. And you know, the most beautiful thing about our body is it knows how to regulate itself, but the trick is, and the hardest part, is we just have to get out of our own way. And that's where practices come into play. You know, just imagine if, let's treat your body like an animal, like a dog or a cat. If you locked that animal up and stopped it from moving in its own intuitive way, imagine where that would lead. More stress, chronic disease, illness, all of those sorts of things. But if you get past, if you take your own judgments about the way that body should move and all of this out of the way, then you can tap into, what's the official name? You can tap into ecstatic dance, yoga, different movement modalities, different ways to move so that we can free ourselves and feel more safe and at peace in the world, and therefore enjoy our life more. And that's what this is all about to me, getting every last drop from life. Let's just look at some practicality for a moment, and let's just look at the emotion of anxiety as one. And anxiety, I believe, in my opinion, is a beautiful teacher and a trigger. And through feeling anxious, if you tap into your body, you'll notice that there's built up energy, and you can transmute that through movement and other movement practices, whether that's ecstatic dance, just letting yourself and your body do what it wants to do, whether that's a choreographed yoga or dance or weightlifting or screaming at the waterfall, whatever it is, you'll find that your body knows how to deal with certain emotions. And if you don't, then that is a trauma and something that will have to be released in the future. And again, this is from my experience and my belief, but I'm, coming to realize that it's so true. And you can look up the works of many amazing psychologists and stuff, and they do talk about this, but obviously it's fucking your boy Hunter here talking about it. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but this is truly my opinion. And And based off my experience, this is what has helped me and what is still helping me to this day. So scanning your body, I think, is an awesome place to start. Like, am I breathing? Is my breath short? Am I short of breath? Is my heart rate up? Do I feel tense? And how can I relieve these things? What ways can I move that will cause my body to relax? And I think bringing yourself back to safety as often as possible is going to create an ability to be able to feel safe, and again, therefore be more in the world and more stoked and blah, 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 blah. So let's look at one of my favorite quotes of all time, which I've used in a previous letter, but I love it so much that it's worth recycling, from Wim Hof. Through deep breathing, we become alchemists, and that is actually the way we are. Wim motherfucking Hof, the Iceman, he has some incredible content around breathwork and has done some studies to prove that if you upregulate your nervous system through cyclic hyperventilation, which is the scientific name for the Wim Hof method breathing, you can create a adrenaline response in your body and not get sick or as sick from certain diseases. And he proved this. I don't know which disease, disease or whatever he used specifically to prove that it counted, but I'm pretty sure it was something like E. coli or something. Again, don't quote me here, but using breathwork, using cyclic hyperventilation, he coached his body to be able to handle more stress from the real world and therefore not get sick. How can we personally tap into that level of alchemy in our own body to not get sick mentally, but also to help us feel more at peace and more stoked in the world? They are all connected. It is all so intricately connected. And I firmly believe that for me, breathwork is a foundation and a fundamental piece of my life. Whether that is, the Wim Hof method, sitting down and doing 3 rounds, whether that's awakened breathwork, which you guys know I love, whether that's doing 1, 2, 3 rounds of breathwork, whether that's just chilling for a couple minutes and letting everything go. Letting the day go. I can already feel myself calming down just from tapping into the breath and slowing down. We have the power inside of us, guys, to be fully empowered in our life, but it's just a matter of learning, practicing, and applying what works for you. Practice. Yo, practice, guys, practice. And you will find the things that work for you. And I'm on a daily exploration of trying to explore all of those different things that work for me. I don't know the answers, I'm just sharing what works for me. Again, as many of you may know, my life was super fucked up and now it's not, and I really enjoy my life and I love to be alive, and there was a phase there where I didn't, and that is the only place that I'm sharing all of this from. So I hope it helps. Obviously it's not as simple as just, oh yeah, all of my problems will be solved with breathwork. There's still a lot to unpack. Go to therapy, do all of the things that you need to do, but you can also be that for yourself with help as well. But you can change your life with tapping into the innate, intuitive role that your body can play in your life. But you just have to listen and you have to fucking tap in. It is speaking all of the time, and I just can't believe I'm saying all of this shit and putting it out to the world, but it is truly what I believe. And I can only say from my experience what I've felt and the things I've been through and what's changed for me. And honestly, I'm not making this video or this content because I'm just trying to fucking grow or make content and be on the grind. Like, this is fundamental to who I am and what's changed my life. And that's why I'm sharing it. That's why I'm making it. And yeah, man, fuck, like, things used to be dark. I used to have such a bad time for like a couple years. I was just so stuck. And then one day I just changed some things, and looking back now, I've changed everything. And there's so many fundamental areas, and I truly think nutrition and movement, breathing, tapping into the body, those are the cornerstones, the fundamental places to start. And whenever I get momentum and seem to get really, really ahead of myself and super stoked and life is super abundant, and I stop the baseline practices that brought me there, sure enough, I make my way back because I'm not respecting those cornerstones: nutrition, breathing, breathwork, meditation, movement, tapping into the body. So with that being said, guys, I ask you to tap into your body. What movement is it asking for you to do now? What movement is your body asking of you? Don't judge it. Who fucking cares what it looks like? What is your body asking you to do? What is the movement it's craving? It might be a stretch. It might be a fucking roar. It might be breath work. It might be throwing something at a wall. It might be just rolling everything out and moving. However, find out what it is. Explore. Play. Don't judge yourself. It's just so funny how much we judge ourselves. Like, at the end of the day, if you're watching this, like, you don't really fucking care about me. And that is how everyone feels about you. People love you. It's really nice. There's family and good vibes and love is real. But at the end of the day, you care more about yourself than anyone cares about you. And if you can release the judgment on yourself, then you will be free, because no one gives a fuck. Only you do. And once you see that and realize that and get rid of it and practice loving yourself how you actually are and stopping judging yourself, then you can create what you've always dreamed of in the world. And I hope that in a few years' time, I can look back and share this and speak from a place of truth and experience rather than just me being optimistic and trying to make things happen. And I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch my content. Oh, I'm fucking fired up. We're here to get every last drop from life. Life is too short to fuck around and do shit that you don't care about. Take it into your hands, pick up your cross, pick up your sword and shield, whatever metaphor you want to use, get to work. I fucking appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you very much for the dream. Let's get every last drop from life. Fucking let's go. Just want to fucking... Sometimes I get so fired up, I don't know what to do about it. Maybe I should do some movement and take my own advice. Probably. Anyway, I appreciate your time. And if you got some value here, if you think it's worth sharing, feel free to share it to someone. Or don't. And yeah, onwards with your day. Cheerio.